Hello, does the thought of drawing or painting a portrait terrify you? If so, I'm going to show you how you can use images from magazines to help you to draw a face. Hi Arty friends, it's Lee here. Thanks for joining me. I want to talk to you about day 22 or the 22nd of May for my Maggie May challenge. So it's to be a portrait. So a lot of you may not want to do a portrait. The thought of it probably scares you to pieces. I just want to show you a couple of ways that you can help yourself. It's a bit of a cheat, I suppose, like a cheat sheet. But you can use magazine images to help you to be able to draw a face. So I've gone through and I've collected a few of different sizes because, let's face it, we're all going to be using different size journals, etc., or pieces of paper to make our creations or our projects on during the Maggie May challenge. And I've got a few different sizes, some big ones, some small ones, some in-between size ones. So you need a couple of them. This is a good one because it's actually off the cover of the magazine, so it's really going to be easy to use. Alright, so with this one, what I would do is I would simply, I want to make it into a stencil basically. So before I do that though, this is another way that you can use them, is to trace. You can trace the face straight onto a piece of paper, and if you wanted to, you could stick that onto your page. So another thing you can use is tissue paper, so the type that we use when we're gel printing, that sort of thing. So that would be really good for that. This tracing paper is pretty tough, so it actually can, will last for a bit. So you can use it a couple of times. So I'm just going to show you with what I would do. Unfortunately, in magazines, I don't know if you've noticed, they always chop the top of the heads off. So I'm just going to quickly draw around that. So here's her face here. I've got one piece, yep. And I'm just basically going to mark, before I cut this up, I'm going to mark where her bits and pieces are. So the eyebrows are here, and the eyes. And I just put the nostrils for the nose, and then the mouth. And her neck would be coming down there if you could see it. And shoulders come out there. Actually, shoulders might be a bit long. She's got a fairly long neck by the look of it. It's hard to tell with that jumper on. But basically, that's a basic face. Basically, that's a basic face. It doesn't make sense. Okay, so if you wanted to do that onto tissue or something like that, you can actually just cut it out and use it. But what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to use my craft knife, and I'm going to cut out the main features so I can use it as a stencil. Okay, so I've got a bit of tissue paper there, so I'm going to just do the same thing and draw the main shapes. Surprisingly hard to see through this tissue paper for some reason. But this is just going to help you to keep your faces in proportion. And if you were going to do a smaller one, well, you just find a smaller magazine image. Or if you were using a smaller surface to paint on, draw on. Okay. With necks, they always start at the ears there and come down like that. So the top of her head might be like there. So if you can imagine if you did a few of these, you could do them with paint or ink and a little brush, and then you've got something that's ready to stick on top of your collage. I'm just going to draw with ink on this. Nice bit of paint skin there. I always keep them. I keep them and then I throw them away because I get sick of looking at them. One day I'll actually use one. Alright, so I want a small paintbrush. That's what I'll do. So a nice little head on it. And with this one, I'm just going to dip in the ink and I'm going to draw so you don't really need to have much detail in there. You can put in more if you want to, of course. So then I've got that, which I can stick onto a page. I'll just put that aside. That ink's gone straight through that paper. That's how thin it is. Let's wipe the ink away. So what I'm going to do with this one is just cut out the main parts. So you can use it as a stencil if you want to. Basically just cutting the holes, the face holes. Okay, so I'm going to cut the eyes out because it's pretty easy to draw eyelids and such. Remember, all we're doing is making something that's going to help with proportions. Okay, so with the mouth, I'm just going to cut the gap between the lips. Like so. And I would just do a couple of little cuts on the hairline so we can tell where the face is, where the hair starts and the face actually finishes. Be careful if you're doing this with a knife because it's pretty easy to cut yourself if you're not paying attention. I'm going to do one on her cheek. Just a small one there, and then another one down here on her jaw. And then one on the chin. And I should probably do the eyebrows. Got good eyebrows, this lady. So you can see what's there. Let me just put it behind something so you can see all the bits of the folder. Maybe one here, just on her jawline. Okay, rightio, so let's have a look and see what we can do with this. And I'll just use another piece of that tissue paper, pop it down. I can use some ink, or I might just use the ink that I've got left here. Won't put as much on the brush this time, so I'm just going to hold that in place. Poke the brush through. This will just give you something to build upon. And that's what I've got. So now I can fill in the other bits. The eyelids. And give her some here. And her ears are about there. Don't have to draw them in properly. So her neck would come down something like that. And I would go under her eyes. And then her lips. And then got that little bit of a shadow. Drawing the rest of the jaw. And that's here. And that you could glue onto your collage and use that way. So this is all the same face, and each one's a little bit different, isn't it? Okay, so there's those two. You could use a Sharpie and you know, like a sheet protector. It's another way of doing it. You could, if you had like a magazine page which isn't as thick like this one, cut out the head and then stick it onto something like a piece of manila folder to give it some substance, and then do something like that as well. Now if you wanted to, you could actually draw a face from scratch, and the easiest way to do it is you need an oval, and then you want to cut it in half, and then you need to go in half again through the middle. Now the eyes will be in line with that, so then halfway between that line and the chin is going to be where your nostrils are, and then halfway between that line and the chin is where the mouth is. So that's the way you would space it out. Now eyes are usually, if you look at the eye, you can usually fit 3 eyes across, or 5 eyes actually, across a person's face. But when you look at the 2 eyes, it's about the same space as an eye in between. So if you were to go something like that, and then put your eye here, and it's in pretty much in the right place. Because it looks really funny when someone's eyes are too far apart. The nose would be there, and the lips would be here. And the eyebrows, you can just pop them on. And you can shape the face, you can bring in a bit of definition to the jaw. It's usually a little bit of a dip beside the eyes. The hairline, she can have hair like that. The ears would be about here. Needs a bit of an eyelid, and the pupil is there. So you don't always see an entire pupil, you only see the middle of it. So if we look at any of these pictures, you can see you're not seeing the top of the pupil or the bottom, you're just seeing the middle bit. So the eyelid actually covers it up. So this is really, really basic. There's lots of tutorials on YouTube that can show you how to do this better than I can. Karen Campbell is really good. She actually has a printable face thingy template. But that gets you started anyway. What else was I going to show you? Okay, I might just talk a little bit more about what Maggie May is. So I did put out a video explaining it a couple of days ago. So it's going to start on the 1st of May. So it's just going to be a fun, I'm calling it a challenge, but it really is not a challenge. It's just a month of play. So 13 projects to do. And it's going to involve, like Maggie May stands for mixed media, achievable art awakening, grunge and goodness, graphical wonders, intuitive and impulsive and expressive experiments. So no boundaries, no expectations, no experience necessary. Let's play in May with this fun media challenge, mixed media challenge. Okay, so I've got my prompts there. I'm trying to make them as lighthearted and fun and playful as possible. So they're all listed there. Now there's a link to this particular document in my video description box, so you can download it and print it yourself. They're also listed in the prompts themselves are listed there. So the 22nd is, yikes, I can't do a portrait. Yes, you can. So I hope you will join with me for this fun challenge slash, I don't know what to call it. A bit like an art camp, really. Virtual art camp. Another thing that I thought of that you could use to do this in is a scrapbook. This one is from Aldi. They don't have them in stock all the time, but you can get scrapbooks everywhere from anywhere that sells school books. This would be perfect. Nice big pages if you want to really lash out. This cost less than $1 when I bought it. I have had it for a couple of years, I must admit. And it's got pretty good weight of paper in there, so I'm really happy with that. So if you imagine, don't use that. I'll get a piece of a gel print and I'll just show you something. Well, here's the cover of my book. So if I was to paste that onto there, you can imagine how that would look, and then you could build up on that if you wanted to. Same with that one. That one's a bit wonky. But anyway, I encourage you to have a go. And if you really don't want to do a portrait, like to draw one, just use an image from a magazine and paint over it. Like actually paint over it. So colour in the skin. Just make it, map out the pieces that are important, like the eyes and the eyebrows and the nose and the mouth, the jawline, and just use that to build your portrait on. So, no excuses for not being able to do it. No excuses will be accepted. No, you just do whatever you want. If you don't want to do that day, you don't have to do that day. You can do as many as you like or as little as you like, or you can just watch what I do and have a look at what everybody else is doing. If you are a YouTube channel and you're going to play along, could you just list my channel in your video description box, and I will do the same thing for your channel as well. So let me know. Alrighty. I'll have another doodly watercolour video up soon, and in the meantime, happy creating, and I'll see you soon. Hugs and cheers from Australia. Hooroo!